Here is the Crescendo Music Education Podcast, episode number 36. This podcast is being recorded on the lands of the Turrbal people. I acknowledge them as the traditional owners of the land and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. They were the first music makers on this land. This episode, along with next episode, because yes, I've had to cut it in two again. It's just a decision I made to make your listening a little bit easier. I just think the shorter episodes just work a little bit better. So I hope that works for you. So there are two episodes coming up where I'm going to speak to Catherine Betts and Joshua Webster. We know them best here in Australia as Kat and Josh. And even my students at school, they see them on the screen and go, it's Kat and Josh. So those of you who do not know Kat and Josh, they are Kaboom Percussion. Absolutely amazing musicians who have done some really useful things for us in the classroom. I know you will love listening to me have a bit of a chat to them over the next two episodes. And if you do not know of Kaboom Percussion, look it up. It is so worth it. Sit back, enjoy Kat and Josh. Kaboom. And welcome to the Crescendo Music Education Podcast. Welcome to Josh and Kat. Hello.
Hello. Nice to be here. Thanks for having us.
Now, Josh and Kat, many of us know from Kaboom, and we love Kaboom. The music teachers in my circle absolutely love Kaboom. We'll get more into what you give to us as music educators. But first, I'll start with your bio. Okay, so here we go. Wow. And by the way, your individual bios are much more extensive. This is our little combined bio. Yeah. So Kaboom Percussion was founded by Catherine Betts and Joshua Webster. That's you guys. We know you as Kat and Josh in 2014. And since then, they've taken the world by storm with their own unique, original and enormously successful repertoire. That's true. Can I say that's true? Their popular education programs have been extremely well received, and they have performed their highly sought-after school shows to more than 100,000 students across Australia and New Zealand. This huge demand has made Kaboom a full-time job for Kat and Josh. We need to talk more about that. I want to hear about your actual life, what you do day to day. Wow. Anyway, in 2021, the Kaboom team grew to include the highly talented percussionists Grace Kruger, Laura Harris, Lochie Dormer, and Nathan Gatenby. Kaboom now has 3 permanent school show teams based in Perth, Melbourne, and Brisbane, allowing for an even greater flexibility in booking and allowing them to teach even more students. At its core, the Kaboom team are passionate about harnessing the fun side of music, showing the world that music can be played with even the simplest of objects. Sparked by their popular version of the Cup song, this approach has seen the growth of their YouTube channel to more than 330,000 subscribers, with their popular videos being viewed more than 100 million times. Oh my goodness. I'm responsible for some of those.
Thank you.
And I do subscribe. They are active in a number of different areas, including performances, recordings, touring, composition, commissions, workshops, school residencies, education programs, self-publishing, radio, TV appearances, YouTube, and you attend and present at education conferences. And there's a list of those you'll see in the show notes. Wow, there's so much we need to talk about. But before we go on, is there anything else you want to add to that you think's important to say to my audience of music educators?
Well, I think the stuff that's listed there is all like the fun stuff. And then outside of that, there's a whole lot of admin and all the boring stuff, which makes up our lives. So yeah, it's a mix of, really, really fun stuff. And then your more day-to-day kind of things that we do as well. But we love it all.
And do you have some VAs to help you though, I hope?
We have one of our Kaboom players also helps a little bit with admin. But yeah, the majority of it is still the two of us.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot. All right. Now, so many questions, but can we start with how you came to be Kaboom?
Sure. So, well, Kat and I, we've known each other since university.
Since we were 17.
Yeah. So about 18 years now.
More than half our lives.
So we've been playing music together.
Wow.
Yeah. And when we were leaving university, we both, at different times, we joined a percussion quartet that our teachers, like our high school teachers, had started when they were at uni, called Tetrified Percussion. And so we were playing in Tetrified. I was in there for about 5 years. Kat was in there for
maybe 3.
Yeah, a few years. And we got to do lots of great touring around Australia. We went to where did we go? India, China, lots of great kind of touring. Yeah, Canada. And we're also doing a lot of school shows. And then our two teachers, who are about a decade older than us, when they hit their mid-30s, they were starting to have families and they needed to have a bit more time at home. And rightfully so, to be around for little ones. We were sort of left in the spot where we wanted to keep doing similar things. So we decided to start Kaboom. Originally, we were just going to be writing some percussion ensemble music mainly for, like, we were writing for our own percussion ensembles, and we thought it'd be nice to publish that. And we were going to make some YouTube videos. So we started off with those two things, and then our first YouTube video did really well.
That was the Cups one.
Which has had more than, I don't know, 20-something million views, which is just, pretty incredible. And then people asked us, can you come and perform? Can you do this? And so we just
spiraled
from there. Yeah.
Wow. That's an amazing story. So the education side happened when you joined the original group, and you were doing some things for schools.
Yeah,
because it seems it's become like a major part of what you do now.
Yeah, totally.
Definitely.
So we were touring with Musica Viva a lot with that group, which gave us good insight into the kind of whole school show kind of
how it works.
Yeah, how it works. Yeah, and how to present for kids, because it's not something that we're taught at university. We're taught to adults and to play your piece, and you get applause and you take a bow and you walk off stage and that's it, kind of thing. So presenting to kids is something that you really have to learn on the job as a musician, I think. And it's a totally different skill set to playing for adults, I think.
Yes, absolutely different. To engage children is
and now that we've done it so much, we really prefer playing for kids. And when we have to play for adults, it's like scary for us. It's just so different. So we learned all that on the job through Tetrified, and then it all kind of spiraled from there after that. But
we do often jokingly say that because we both have master's degrees in classical percussion, and now we sort of play cups and buckets for a living. It's quite a funny turn to come around.
Yeah, but it's so important. You've ended up in the part of music that's the most important part in the world.
And we love it. Yeah, we absolutely love it.
Like that's you teaching. It's the next generation.
Yeah,
exactly.
And they're such lovely audiences to play for. Like they're so happy to see you. Every time we go to a school, the kids are happy, and we just get to get them excited about music, basically, which is, what an amazing job to have.
Yeah.
It is pretty cool, isn't it? And it must have been a bit, no, I don't want to say difficult. You must have had to be careful in selecting your new team members.
Yes.
Yeah. So we were always planning on expanding our team. So pre-COVID, Kat and I would drive across Australia every year.
Perth to Brisbane.
Perth and Brisbane are back for about 3 months.
Oh, and those people who aren't from Australia, how long does it take you to drive from Perth to Brisbane?
Well, we would drive for 4 days to get to Melbourne and then kind of go up from there. But we would drive for 2 straight days and still be in our own state. Take us 2 days to go to WA. So, and there's nothing much out there.
It's a beautiful drive. Would recommend it. But
after you've done it 5 times, you're like, I've seen this road enough now.
So it was on the 5th journey home where Kat was saying to me, Josh, I think we're kind of at our limit. That
we were
year,
doing 230 shows a year across Australia and New Zealand, and that was like as much as we could fit in, essentially. So
on tour for about 6 months. Yeah, it was just it was big. And so Kat was saying, look, I think we need help. So it's funny, like initially I was quite resistant, that whole, we're the best people to do this. And you get very attached to the thing that you've created. And it's a very scary prospect to open that up to other people. But we've been so impressed, and I think we got really lucky with wonderful team members now in Kaboom.
Yeah, all the players are kind of fresh out of uni. They're all super energetic, great players, and we've been to see lots of their shows over East, and it's cool that we sit at the back. None of the kids know who we are. They don't care about us. They think like Grace and Lochie or Laura and Nathan are like the best thing ever, and they're signing autographs after the show. And yeah, it's really cool to see that. Yeah, the show that we have is good enough that you get some good players in there and you can take it anywhere. So yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
that is so good. But it's hard to give up your baby, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
I like having that control. Yeah.
You gotta let go of the control. Yeah.
But it's been exciting.
And it's cool as well that they have ideas that we don't have.
Yeah.
So when they come to learn the show, they learn, so we kind of have a show that goes for 2 years and then we change it. So we're about to teach them a new one in January. But when we taught them the original show, they would come up with things and we're like, oh, we kind of like that. We're going to do that when we play it now. So yeah, it's kind of a collaborative process as well.
Seeing it through different lenses.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That is fabulous. That's truly intentional collaboration. That's one of the things I love to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's been great to share the joy of what we do with other people as well, to see them get excited, because that they're sort of essentially doing the job that we had straight out of uni, playing with our teachers. We didn't have to do any of the hard work or the admin, the writing of the shows, the booking. We just turned up and played, and it was the best job. And so now they get to do that. So it's really nice to be able to maybe pass that on to the next generation.
Oh, that's lovely. Nice little circle of life thing. I love it. Okay, so before we dig into a bit more about Kaboom and the great resources that you make for music educators, and I can talk a little bit about the things that I sneak into my classroom all the time. That's fabulous. Because it is, sorry, I'll sidetrack just for a sec. It's getting harder in schools to actually have shows come to you. And you're probably very aware of that. And I think there's two main reasons. Well, there's a cost issue, but I really don't think the main thing is cost anymore. It's the overcrowded curriculum and the fact that administrators and other teachers do not want to give up their valuable teaching time to do, I'm air quotes, by the way, fun stuff. You know, well, like we know that what you would offer would be so much more than fun stuff and would be probably better learning than their whole classroom year put together. But we may be slightly biased, but it's actually true. But you've got to convince a whole lot of people that having a show is worth it. Once it's part of the school culture, that's fine. But it is difficult. You get a change of admin. Yeah. So it's just getting harder for people to book shows. So your other resources are also very important. So I do want to dig into that. But before we dig into that, I like to ask all of my podcast guests about gratitude, because I just think it's essential in our work, especially our work that involves so much heart and soul. And I say our, I'm sticking myself in your category here as a musician.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Yeah.
Thank you. But if you can talk about gratitude a little, for what are you most grateful, and also people that have been influential in your lives.
Well, I think first and foremost, we both come from very supportive families. I think a lot of kids, like nearing the end of high school, when you are trying to decide what you're going to do at uni or not go to uni and that kind of stuff, I remember saying to my parents, I think I'm going to study percussion. And I know a lot of parents would probably be like, oh, maybe let's have like a backup here. But my parents are like, see, we'll make this happen, that kind of thing. So And I know your parents were the same.
Exactly the same. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't be more excited for us to go on this journey. So having that kind of support behind us is amazing. Makes our life so much easier.
Yeah. In terms of gratitude, I mean, what is there not to be grateful for? Living in Australia, you know, it was just, we're very lucky. You look around the world, especially with what's happening at the moment, and you just think, my goodness, we are so lucky to be where we are, having the freedom to do the things that we want to when we want to. That kind of thing is just such a privilege. So yeah, very grateful for life in general.
In terms of people, we've had the amazing support of our university lecturer, mentor, teacher, Tim White, who
he just got an OAM last year.
Tim White OAM.
Yeah.
He's been so supportive of our entire journey and continues to be. I mean, we haven't been at uni for many years now, but
15 years.
15 years. But anytime we need a big space to rehearse or anything, we just ask him. He's like, "Oh, come into uni, use it. It's fine. You need instruments, use our instruments." So having that kind of support from someone continuing after uni is incredible.
Yeah, and all of our teachers, we've both been very blessed to have very wonderful teachers who are not only very good at their instrument and their teaching profession, but they're just lovely people who've always been there to inspire, and we're still good friends with them. Which is awesome. Perth has a really great percussion community, which is definitely filtered down from people like Tim, who really tried to instill the values of teamwork and cooperation amongst the crowd. You know, the person who's studying with you at university, they're not your competitor. You know, I'm pointing to Kat here. They're not your competition. They are your friends. So support each other. Go to everyone's gigs. Go to their recitals.
Help them move their gear.
And so it's just always been instilled from us from day one that it's, you know, we're part of a team. And I think there is always something nice about percussionists, because I think because we do have to move a lot of gear together, there is a lot of inherent teamwork that comes with that.
Yep. Yeah, I could see that. Oh, that's great. And then, of course, you're passing that on to the next generation and the one beyond that. So that's
hopefully.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I love everything Kaboom. But I don't know everything Kaboom. I guess I just know my bits that I use. So I bought a bundle, the classical play-alongs and the pop play-alongs. Oh, seriously, they're gold, guys. Like, really, they're gold. So I'll give you an example. I used it a couple of weeks ago. We had a celebration sort of thing at the end of the term, and the kids could, for an hour and a half, the kids went to whatever sessions they wanted to all over the school. You know, someone was painting, someone was doing this, and I go, I'll do cups and boom whackers. I just open the classroom and they come in, and it's just, yes, there's a variety of YouTube, but there's also your play-alongs, and I just had a whole lot of stuff queued, ready. Okay, what do you feel like doing? The kids that happen to wander in, we want boom whackers. Okay, click. There you go. Tell them what boom whackers they needed, grabbed, away we go. It was just like instant happy. And I'm pressing buttons, helping them as they're sort of sorting out, going, hold on, guys. I know they're not as exciting because they're smaller, but we do need some B's and some A's. And so for the boom whacker stuff, the cups, let's grab the cups. Which one do you want to do? Here's a choice. So the cups and the drums, I've just bought myself a set of drums. Oh, I do have a problem with hearing above the drums.
Yes, right.
If you've got 30, anyway, and in your play-alongs that we use, that's the cups and the drums and there's pens, there's desk, there's body percussion.
Yeah,
that's really good. The boom whackers I tend to get off the internet, but those play-along books are just fabulous, and I'm trying to sort of just weave them in through the classroom through the year. And your YouTube channel, at the end of this year, we watched the series of you tipping things over each other's heads. We watched in order, and it was so good, and the kids were so funny because they're going, oh, the boy's gonna win. No, the girl. I think, no, it's Josh and Kat. Use their names, please. Because we all feel like we know you because we're watching you on YouTube all the time.
Yeah.
That's cool to see that, like, when we go into schools, kids already know us, which is, yeah, really cool to see. They'll just say, "Hi, Kat." And I'm like, "I've never seen you before, but hi, sure."
Yes.
Yeah, they feel like they know us as well. And they'll put comments on our videos saying, "Oh, I watched this in music class today." So it's cool to see that follow through from they've seen it in music and then they liked it. So they went home and spent their free time watching it at home as well, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been with all of our YouTube things, so much positivity has come about from it, which is, I know that's not always the case for people putting themselves out there online, but yeah, we've been very lucky to have overwhelmingly positive sort of feedback. Yeah, which is fantastic. And just, really touching messages, people sharing time with their parents, learning, some of our cup routines or things like that. It's just, yeah, it's really, really special. And as Kat said, lots of kids, and then for them to get the feeling that they know us is really great, because we have quite a strange job in that we're always basically working with people we don't know, because we do lots of incursions. So by having that, and for them to feel that they already do know us, you get a bit of early rapport, which you might otherwise have to build within an hour or
we had a great one last year. It was a mother in the UK who emailed us and said, "My son does your videos in music class. He loves it. Can you come to his Zoom birthday party?" This was kind of during COVID. We were like, "Oh, that's cool." We weren't available on the date, so we thought, "Oh, we'll send him a little video." So we found out a bit about him, his dog's name and what he likes about the videos and stuff like that. We recorded a little video, sent it to him, and his mum sent one back of when he watched the video, and it was so cute. He was so excited to see us in real life. And yeah, it was a 2-minute video, and once it finished, he said, "Can we watch it again?"
So, that's magic. To have that sort of influence is amazing.
It's very cool.
It's very cool, yeah.
It is really cool. So can you tell us about your resources?
Yeah, so we make lots of different resources. So we started off with what we call our classroom packs, which are each one has 3 pieces in them. They're kind of longer form pieces that you might work on maybe for a term, that kind of thing. Maybe you could perform in an assembly. We always use a lot of those ones when we go to schools to do workshops. We'll cut them down for time's sake if we're only there for 45 minutes, but we use those, which come with videos. And after those started to do pretty well online, we thought, all right, what else can we do? I think the next thing we did was the play-alongs. Yeah. Maybe pop play-alongs, classical, and there's a Christmas one as well. And they're really designed those ones to make a teacher's life easier, we hope.
Yes, so it works. Thank you.
You need a 5-minute break, put on a video, and the kids are still hopefully learning some quality music things, but without you having to instruct them, or you just learn the routine and teach it yourself if you prefer. So those are kind of nice and quick and hopefully fun, picking songs that the kids enjoy, and with the classical one, hopefully exposing them to some music they might not have heard before, which is really cool. We also have marimba play-alongs, well, not play-alongs, marimba pieces to learn as well. So there's 5 of them. Is that all we've got so far?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, and the mega book.
Oh, the mega book, yeah, which is a bit of a combination of... It's
like the play-alongs, but without playing along to music. They're kind of standalone short pieces.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
So yeah, and in between times you make just the general YouTube. How do they fit in? Just because your play-alongs are housed on a private YouTube, aren't they? So that we click on the link and we're on that. But your actual public YouTube, you just do that when you have time, sort of?
Yeah. So we used to make a lot more videos early days because we had a lot more time. And then surprise, life's gotten quite busy, and we've been making fewer videos these days. It's early on, especially, it was really great because that was our marketing, essentially. We've never really paid for any marketing. We just, apart from attending conferences and that sort of thing, we thought, why don't we make videos? There's no better way to reach someone than to do something that they're actually genuinely interested in. versus sending them, cold calling them or something. It's much nicer that they can see a video. Oh, wow, this is fantastic. Oh, they're in Australia. Oh, I can, they can come visit me, that sort of thing. So not that we did it for marketing purposes, but we just wanted to make videos.
And in the early days, we spent so long on each video.
Yeah.
Like our Cups video, I think we spent 3 months rehearsing it, and we've got all these like videos of us coming up with the grooves and making it perfect, and it took a long time. And so then our next one came like 6 months later because we rehearsed it for 6 months. And these days we don't have the luxury of that much time to be able to spend on a single video, so we kind of wait till we have an idea that really excites us, and then we usually can get it done in a couple of weeks.
But it is it's been a great journey, and a lot of the video editing stuff is what I would do. A lot of Kat does a lot of the like the school show admin stuff, which I'm very, very grateful for.
I would be too.
But it's really great fun making videos and just trying to come up with different ideas, and it's really great because it's obviously a very visual medium, so we have to consider, and I think we've always been trained to, as percussionists, to consider the visual aspect of performance. To kind of also think about how we can make something look good as well as sounding good.
And be engaging for 3 whole minutes. It's funny, you watch the analytics, you can see on the YouTube page about how long people will stay for. And it's cool that
retention rates.
That you can really kind of analyze your videos like that.
And I think it's been very helpful for our school shows as well, writing pieces for kids. I think people say that kids have short attention spans, but I think everyone sort of has short or similar sort of attention spans. And it's nice to keep changing it up, whether it be, the instruments we're playing or the way in which you're delivering the content. So in our show, we tell a story where we get some kid actors up, and that's just funny.
The kids think that Josh is the silliest person in the world.
We have some
like, is he like that in real life?
We have some panto moments and things like that. So it's been really nice through the videos to kind of have avenues to try things as well. That we can work on an idea for maybe 2 weeks, and then it's done, and then it has this legacy online that someone will be watching videos right now, and these are videos that we made maybe 8 years ago. So
there's over 100 videos, like YouTube videos out there that we've made. So there's a lot to get through.
Wow. Well, I think there's 2 things with the videos. It's another outlet for your creativity, because you're both obviously very creative, and I think you need that outlet. So it's another outlet for your creativity, and it might not have been deliberate, but it's also like an absolutely brilliant marketing tool, as you've said, because it's about know, like, and trust in business. So like, we're watching you, and we know you. I feel like I know you. I have actually met you once very briefly in Perth. Just very briefly. I was at the Kodai conference was it the 2018 Kodai conference? Is that where I actually met you, or was I there another time? Anyway, but I was part of a crowd of music teachers, so you wouldn't remember me unless you went, oh, pink hair. But watching you on video, I feel like I'm getting to know you, and the little things, even the tiny little bits, the humour. Like, we've been doing Johnny Be Good with Cups fairly frequently. So at the end of your tutorial, so you would not even remember this, Kat, you go, Johnny Be Good, and you go, Johnny Be Good. And what is it? It's a reference to, I stuffed that one up, didn't I? But it's something you made some pun about Be Good. And we just know, we feel, oh, they've had a joke. They've had a joke with me, So all those videos.
One of the things.
Go on.
I was just saying, one of the things, early days, as Kat was saying, we would spend months on videos, and so we wanted to get more things out. So we started to publish our blooper reels, and we did it just because, like, here's an extra bit of content while we're working on the next thing. But it was fantastic. We went along to some school visits, and we had teachers saying to us, oh, it's so great that the kids can see that you make mistakes. and that you're not this kind of, you're
like
not
didn't
perfect.
happen. You had to practice it. Yeah.
Because obviously everyone makes heaps of mistakes, but kids, it's really great for them to see that even these people who hopefully do very polished performances, they make mistakes, and for us all the time, we make heaps of mistakes. And we have a laugh during it as well. So
yeah, the mistakes aren't a big deal. Yeah.
No. So it was really nice to hear that perspective, because we were just kind of doing it just to get a bit more content out there. But yeah, really nice to hear.
But a great outcome. I love that. Now, the next thing I was going to ask you, but I think I've answered this one for myself, about whether you think of yourself more as musicians or music educators, because you've ended up in this. Can I tell you what I think you're going to say? Yeah, I think you're going to say you're musicians who happen to work in music education more, but maybe you're not going to say that.
I think that's pretty accurate. Yeah. Like we trained as musicians, we both have performance degrees, not education degrees, and we've kind of done all this education training on the job, essentially. So yeah, we're kind of very excited to be working in this field. But I think, at our heart, we're still musicians, and that's the thing we love doing. And I think we're very good at performing and that kind of thing. So we love to keep that as our main thing, and then transfer that into education as much as we can.
But we do exist in this wonderful space where we get to be both, which is awesome.
Now, this question, I like to ask everyone, this one is about nuggets of fabulous. Okay, so could you list some, I say 3, but I don't care, it could be 1, could be 5, of your all-time favourite resources, activities, games, songs, ideas, anything. And you know what? It's okay if they're actually ones you've produced. That's all right with me. Like, you can pick your favourite ones, because you also may have some different perspective because you work with really large groups, whereas most of the people listening would work with between 20 and 30 kids at a time. But there's a lot transferable. So what are your favourite things? Nuggets of fabulous.
Okay, top 100, go.
All right, number 1. I think there's lots of little tricks that we've kind of learned all along the way, because like when we do smaller workshops with, like, say, a class size of kids, we come in, they don't know us, we're there for 45 minutes, we don't know who these kids are, if there are behavioural issues, we don't have time to deal with them, basically. We've got to keep moving. So we've got lots of little things we use in that kind of situation to help keep things going, and a lot of them involve getting kids not to play on the instruments that we've just put in front of them. So whenever we work with drumsticks, our favourite thing to get the drumsticks out of the kids' hands is whenever we finish playing, the final rhythm will be hoo, hoo, ha, and on the ha, you put your sticks on the ground and leave them in a very dramatic fashion. So that's always fun.
Oh, that's always fabulous. Oh, I love that. Oh, I'm going to so do that.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. And then to see kids who have missed it, or they've been out of the room and they come back in,
it's the only way you can put your sticks
down. They do it quickly by themselves. So finding ways, as you mentioned, like at the heart of what we do is fun, trying to make music fun for everyone, ourselves included. But try to find fun ways to elicit the behaviour that you want, rather than saying, all right, put your sticks down, no, don't touch them, but actually, how can you make that desirable outcome a fun thing? Cool, let's add some sounds to it. Or
like whenever we play with cups, the first thing we do is put our cups on the ground and listen to the sound they make when we're not touching them. Silence, amazing. Yeah. The kids are all like, ooh, silence, cool. So we always, whenever we finish something, cups down, listen for the silence, and they all go silence. So fun little things like that have made our lives a lot easier.
Definitely. In our current school show, and for our school shows, we're usually playing for about 300 kids at a time. We have a few body percussion calls and answers, which then have an action that follow them. So you teach them the secret signal, which for young ones has words, for the older ones doesn't have the words. But in the current show, we're doing blue steel. So eyebrows up, out face, and an attitude on the side with the arms folded.
Yeah.
And then you have to do that all at once after you hear this body percussion called and copied. So again, like a way to make, all right, everyone, can you please be quiet and listen to us? That's not as fun as, right, here's the secret signal. Now we're doing blue steel. Kind of, so either sort of micro or macro ways to get those kind of
we love kids being quiet.
Yeah, it's kind of, I think because one of the things about it is that if you don't have people's attention, then you could be saying anything and it doesn't matter. Like people need to be paying attention to really get what you're trying to give them. So having lots of attention, getting techniques and ways to hold them are really important. So yeah, there are a couple of little ones that we use. We've been lucky when we were teaching our own percussion ensembles. One of the guys we studied with at university was a man named Freddie Ponson, who was a great hand drummer, and he had curated a lot of pieces from his trips around the world, mostly in Africa, and he passed on heaps of great djembe pieces and things like that with songs that we'd often do with our ensembles. And I just love folk music, and being able to pass that on. Kids love it straight away. They pick it up really easily. I think there's something fantastic about folk music, that it's sort of deceptively simple. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but the kind of songs that you can sing to someone, and by the end of it, they can sing along in the chorus as well. There's something about it that's just, really targeted perfectly to, they're very teachable. And fun as well. So I really love folk music, kind of things like that.
Yeah, and I think there's a reason why it is folk music. It's because it has survived.
Exactly.
Down time. That's the very nature of folk music. So it's got to have that magic, simple yet perfect and well shaped and not easy to do. I think the same sort of thing with good children's music. A lot of some well-trained musicians may have the opinion that children's music, anyone can write that, anyone can do that. Like, no, it's really difficult to craft something amazing for children. And I think folk music and children's music are both very much like that.
Yeah, definitely.
So yes, go on, Kat. You're about to say something.
What was my last one? I was just thinking about speed circle.
Sure.
So this is if we've got time at the end of a workshop, we'll often do this activity, which I think a lot of music teachers know, where you're all in a circle, you clap once, the person next to you claps, and each person does one clap until it gets back to where it started. And we always do this as like how fast can you do this? Clap around the circle, everybody. So we do it once, we time the kids, so they get 10 seconds their first try. And we say, all right, we want you to do this in less than 4 seconds. And they all go, no way is that going to happen. No way. There's all commotion. We're like, no, we can do it. Let's try it a couple more times. We give them a couple more goes. And
the next time will be around 7.5 seconds.
It always improves.
And then, all right, I'm going to give you 3 more attempts of this. But we need to start thinking as a team. So, for example, if I'm standing here in the circle and the clap is passing around, and then Kat claps, and I go, oh, fantastic, Kat's just clapped. I guess it's my turn. Here I go. And then I clap. And then the person next to me thinks, oh, Josh has just clapped. Great. I best luck. Okay, we don't have time for that. All right, you need to start thinking more as a team. So, send your attention to maybe 2 or 3 people further along the circle. I want you to react to that person, because chances are, by the time you react to them, the people in between you will have reacted to the person that they're looking at. And so you've got 3 more attempts. And all just like really boiling it down, make sure everyone's super silent.
You can have the rowdiest class in the world, and as soon as you go, all right, ready, set, and they're all just deathly silent, waiting for their clap.
1, go.
And by the end, they always beat the time we set. And there's this huge commotion of this... everyone's screaming, yeah, we did it, and it's really cool to see. But then at the end, we always tell them, so at the first time we tried that, we asked you to do it as fast as you could, and that was 10 seconds. Why didn't you just do it that fast, like the 4-second version to start with? Well, because we needed to practice it. We needed to try it again and again and again and work as a team so that we could get the best version of what we wanted to do. And we always do the analogy of, all right, everybody put your arm in the air as high as you can. All right, now go
10 centimeters higher.
And they all go up. So
why didn't you do that the first time? Yeah, exactly.
So it always takes that extra push.
And just to relate it back. And so that's why when your music teacher says, can we do this one more time? Can we do this one more time? Can we do this one more time? They're asking you because they know you're sort of capable of wonderful things, but it does take that real team focus and a lot of attention to get there.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that. They are absolute nuggets. Thank you. Nuggets of fabulous. All right. Now, where can everybody connect with you? I'll get you to email me everything and I'll put it in the show notes, but can you just tell everyone where they can find you?
So we're on...
Main spot would be our website, kaboompercussion.com.
Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
We're too old for TikTok, so not TikTok.
We are. And YouTube. And we're just Kaboom Percussion in all those spaces.
And email kaboom@kaboompercussion.com.
Yeah.
For anything.
Fabulous. I'll put all of that in the show notes. And if people are in Australia, they can check out your shows as well. And you'll just have to work on getting it overseas, won't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I know, I don't know how much you have had to do with the battle for the existence of music education in schools. I've had a lot to do with it, but just wondering if you have any advice around advocacy as we try to prove to society how important music is for our kids, and not just to create fabulous professional musicians like you two, just for the benefits of music education for everyone. Do you have any advice for us around advocacy?
Well, as you said, because we're not working in the one school on a day-to-day basis, we don't have a huge amount of experience in this. One of the things that we have tried to do is to create resources that allow for music programs to happen in places with little to no gear, and even without having a music teacher, because for lots of the schools that we go around to now, they don't have a music specialist, which we know is a really tragic thing for those kids not to have someone trained and able to really deliver them the best version of that, because we know what life in music is, not just as you said, becoming a professional musician, but just for all the amazing things that it does. But so we tried to think, okay, well, can we have resources that a teacher could just press play on a video and we will teach the kids. They don't need to have a music budget. They can use body percussion cups, things that they
but also trying to help those teachers there's a lot of teachers we see that are maybe an art specialist and now they have been thrown into teaching art and music, and they're a little bit out of their depth in the music kind of side of things. So we're hoping our resources can help those teachers feel a bit more confident teaching music. Obviously, it's not an ideal situation to have someone not teaching music, or someone teaching music who's not a specialist.
Any subject, really.
But there's lots of music teachers who also have to teach drama who maybe aren't in a specialist in that kind of situation. So we try to make, people's lives easier in that kind of way. But what I can say is, from what we see going into schools, I remember there was a couple of years ago, we did a year 7 show. And for us, year 7 show, year 7s are a hard audience to play for. So not the days that we look forward to the most. But we did the show and it was fine. It was fine.
We finished it and we turned to each other after everyone had left and thought, whoa, that was a bit of hard work. Yeah. But we got through it.
Yeah. And this boy, I think he came up to Josh at the end and said, that was my favorite day at school ever. He just loved that show. And hearing that from a year 7 boy who, maybe during the show, they don't kind of emote as much as a 5-year-old would, but to hear that after the show, that was his favorite day of school ever, is just amazing. And you never know what a live performance is going to do to a kid. For me, the live performances that came into school when I was a kid, they're the things that I remember. I remember the reptile man bringing in his reptiles. I remember the string quartet who came to play for us. Those are the days of school that stick in my brain because they were different to everything else.
Yeah.
So having those memories and the things that stick with you for life, and you never know which kid they're going to impact the most, you know. It's really cool to see.
I had an incursion come through my primary school where we made our own little drum sets, and I still have the chopsticks, which were my drumsticks from then. I've got, you know, a fair amount of drumsticks these days, but I've still got those chopsticks. Yeah, as Kat said, like they're pretty lasting memories because they are, they're very different.
Yes. So you just don't know you don't think a lot about the power that you have to advocate for your subject just by doing your performances.
Yeah, and as Kat said, that story about that young man who came and said that was his favourite day at school, that's the one I passed on to our Kaboom teams because, you know, we see every show. We know which shows are really easy. We know which shows are some harder work, but in every show there could be that kid who's just absolutely loving it and getting so much from it. So, it's a wonderful job that we get to do.
And I remember before we did Kaboom, we were both instrumental music teachers. So we'd go into schools and teach drums and percussion. And I remember one year having a year 12 boy who was graduating. He wasn't the best player, but he came to his lessons every week and we would have a good time. And his mum gave me a card at the end of when he graduated, and it said, like, he never really wanted to go to school except on Thursdays because he had his drum lesson on Thursdays. And hearing that, and I'm sure it's the same for so many kids out there, that their music lesson is the reason they go to school on that particular day each week, whereas otherwise they might want to have stayed in bed that day, or might have been hard work getting them out the door. Music has that chance to make a kid's life enjoyable and that day at school a fun day. So and because of that they can learn all their other subjects as well because they're at school because of their music lesson. So it's cool to see that kind of side of things as well.
So that's almost a reminder for everyone to not negate the effect that we have ourselves on the children, and that's advocacy in itself, isn't it?
Yeah,
totally.
For me, one of the things that struck me a lot with my peripatetic one-on-one teaching was the number of times I feel like I would occupy an interesting space because I was in my 20s. I'm not as old as their parents, but I'm older than their siblings, and it's kind of that cool middle ground, which is great. It's quite nice to finally be cool in my lifetime. But it was a really interesting space because some kids, they just wanted to talk to you about their week, and you know there are troubles at home, and this is happening, and you know I can only practice drums at Dad's house because we don't have them at Mum's house, and that kind of thing. And you were just a supportive ear, which was amazing. Both my parents are social workers, so you know I've sort of been brought up to listen and that kind of thing. So I was aware that was a very privileged space to be in, you know, not only to let's have some fun playing some music and learn some things, but also just kind of just be there for them in a really, really, interesting space that they, you know, maybe wouldn't talk to their normal classroom teachers about it because there are 30 other kids at the same time, or they wouldn't talk to their siblings about it. So it's quite special spaces we get to work in with music.
I love that. That is very powerful. I agree. And before we finish off with a final kaboom, would you like a chance to get on your soapbox and tell anybody who's listening anything that's important for you to say, apart from connect with us, do Kaboom, you're fabulous. I'll say that for you, so you don't have to say that. Is there anything else you'd like to tell the world?
I would just say a huge thank you to all the music teachers out there who do bring, it doesn't have to be our resources, any different resources into their school, who bring any kind of show, live performance to their school. We know it's not an easy thing to do. As you're saying, there's so many hoops to jump through. There's so many different things to organize, that when it finally does happen, it can be an amazing memory for those kids to have. So the fact that music teachers go to all that effort to make that happen is amazing. And we appreciate it so much. It means, well, our job is kind of centers around that, but also all the experiences we had as kids. We had amazing music teachers all the way through, which led us to become professional musicians. So yeah, there are some amazing people out there who go above and beyond all the time to make these things happen, which we really appreciate.
Definitely. The amount of teachers we see at music conferences and things who are all doing it in their spare, holiday time, all this wonderful extra holidays that teachers magically have, which we know not so true. But yeah, just wonderfully passionate people. I think across the board, wherever we've been, we've met such inspiring both music teachers and musicians, and it's an absolute joy to be a part of that circle. And as we say at every conference we're at, just a massive thank you to everyone who, for doing what you're doing, because it allows us to exist. And we're very grateful for the impact that they're having on their students, because we want to live in a world where kids are brought up with music and all the great values that come with that. So just a big thank you to everyone who's listening for doing what you're doing. Keep doing it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's just a big thank you to Kaboom for doing all of the things that you do for us. And we will all see you again, even if it's on the other side of the screen.
Yeah,
so,
we'll be there.
So keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much. Bye, Josh and Kat.
Thank you. See ya.
As we know, laughter relieves stress. Don't lose sight of the funny side of life. You know that writing with a broken pencil is pointless. Thank you so much for watching our Crescendo Music Education podcast. For more information about all things Crescendo, including membership and music education resources, visit us at crescendo.com.au. Don't forget to like and subscribe.